Hey everybody, welcome back to Indie Game Dev Report. This is episode 20. I've got an awesome interview lined up with Bucketful Games, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. First, I wanted to chat about a couple things. First of all, I just want to let devs know that if they signed up and applied for a interview, and I haven't gotten back to them yet, just be patient. I'm kind of taking things in my own time here. It's nice to have a list of devs to go through and get to eventually, so it could take time. But I'm going to reach out to most of you and just be patient. So, I just wanted to get that out of the way. And then second, I wanted to mention what I'm doing because I haven't really talked that much about it in a long time now. I'm still working on Retro Spaceball, and I'm working on my Game Boy Studio game called C.H.A.I.R. Both should be getting updates relatively shortly. I know I've been saying that for a while on Retro Spaceball, but I'm actually getting to the point where I'm going to feel comfortable releasing an update. I'm going through right now and revamping some of the UI elements, giving them animations and sounds and stuff like that, just to and giving them a new look because it was feeling kind of old. So all of that's getting revamped, or at least in the main menu, and the audio, like the background music manager, is getting overhauled, where now there's a random button, so you can actually choose if the playlist is randomized or not. And then also there's going to be there's a skip track button in the pause menu, and I'm trying to revamp the way that the options menu works with the audio selection, and I'll probably go in and change it eventually again to where it's like a playlist that you can choose which tracks are going to play. So if there's a song that you don't like, you can get rid of it and stuff. But I'm probably going to have that even further down the road. I'm going to update that. But right now, I'm just trying to get things to work and get it together, make it look nice, make it feel nice, and that should be ready to go. And then with SourceHack, I'm doing a whole lot of stuff with that. I'm kind of using that as a game to just like learn the features of GB Studio and just kind of see what I'm capable of doing. And that's kind of how that project started. It was actually for a GB Compo 23, so a while back now, I think back in September of 23. And that was when I first released the Game Jam version. And basically I was trying to do something really simple, but it's very difficult on the Game Boy in GB Studio. And I've since learned how to do what I was trying to do, but now I'm just kind of running in the direction that I've already gone. But at the same time, I'm adding all these different features and elements to the game where it's evolving. So like you get to like level 8, I think, and the game changes pretty drastically. And then it just keeps changing and changing. So like at first you're like going through these small corridors, picking up keys to open a lock, and once you get all the keys, you get to the exit. So that was really simple, and then I added moving enemies and things that you can't touch, or you have to restart the level and get those keys again. And then eventually a story kind of starts to evolve, and then I went back in and made like a intro scene and made it so you have to like get fired from your job and like walk through the streets a little bit and go back to your apartment before you start playing the game aspect of it. And then it kind of rips you away from the game aspect of it into like a completely different game, which is more of like an RPG. So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that, and I know it's probably going to confuse some people, but that's okay. I'm just having fun. So that's going to get an update soon, and the update is actually, it's still in the works, but like I've added a couple new levels, but then at the same time there's like a point where it starts, you can tell that it's not finished, but it's still playable, and at that point you get warped to like a different world where things are more like a Zelda-like game, where like each screen is, you get to the edge and then you go to the next screen kind of thing, like the original Zelda. And you can get a sword, and then there's an inventory, and you can collect coins or gems, and yeah, so all of that's still not finished, but it's getting done. There's like a heart system and stuff like that, and I've been having a lot of fun doing that. But yeah, that would be like the point where it's like the game just kind of is over at that point. So I'm probably going to add like a screen that says like, oh, you found the end. Come back for more updates later, which is what I've been doing, and that's been fun. Yeah. So I just wanted to chat a little bit about what I was doing, and now that I have, I think it's a good time that we get into the interview with Bucketful Games, and should be a lot of fun. Enjoy. Okay, I've got Robert from Bucketful Games, and Robert, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit for the audience?
Yeah, hi Rick. Thanks for the invitation to this podcast. I'm Robert. I'm 38 years old from Germany, and started like 5.5 years ago with my game dev journey, and yeah, here I am.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Just to learn a little bit about your background, what kind of games do you like to play?
I like to play, yeah, all kind of games. When I still was playing regularly on my computer, I loved playing first-person shooters, especially Quake 3 Arena or Quake Live, whatever. Also RTS games like StarCraft and Command and Conquer Red Alert, for example, all kind of games.
Cool.
In the meantime, I got some kids and a tight schedule and less time to play extensive games on computers. So a few years ago, I primarily moved to playing mobile games.
Oh, wow.
I know, boo-hoo. I'm also kind of sad about it, but I was always trying to look for good mobile games. So not that scammer stuff or just this repetitive pay to win crap. But there's still some decent games out there on mobile. So was always looking for that. So I'm currently playing, I think, Mario Kart Tour and Warcraft Rumble.
Right on. I'm not familiar with either of those, but that sounds cool.
Yeah. Okay. Um, just some games that I can play on the go or when I have some spare minutes, just to keep my gamer soul a little bit satisfied.
For sure. Yeah, and I do know I did play Quake Live and Command and Conquer. I'm still actually playing Command and Conquer, the remake. I've been playing that.
Mhm.
That's a good one. But yeah, so and you've been working on games, you said, for 3 years?
No, for 5.5 years. Five
Oh, I'm
five and a
sorry.
half years.
5.5
Yeah.
years. Okay. And I was talking to you earlier. You said that you started with Unity and then you moved to Godot. Is that correct, or was there anything before
Yeah,
Unity?
yeah. No, that's right. Um, when I started with game dev, I just finished my graduation as a state certified technician in electronics. This is similar in Germany. It's I think a German thing. It's similar to a degree in as a bachelor in engineering
Ah, okay.
for electronics. Yeah, um, just with more practical experience. However, during my studies, I learned how to code. When I was in my youth, I think 13 or so, I thought, hey, I want to be a game dev someday because I just love playing video games. So I had some programming classes at school, which I could choose, and after 2 years, I thought, oh, I think coding isn't for me. So I buried that dream. Skipping 20 years forward, I finished graduating my studies, and all of a sudden I could code because I learned how to code in C and C++ and assembler and some basic LabVIEW also. And I thought, hey, now I can code a little bit, and I don't want to lose this profession, this thing, the skill I learned. So I was looking for something to, keep me coding. And during that time, I think it was 2018 in September somewhere. There was this Humble Unity bundle, um, which I purchased because it had some assets and also some courses to get starting with game dev. And I thought, hey, why not? I was at that time looking for a new hobby anyway because I'm playing electric guitar, but due to my family, I barely find the time to play because when I have time, it's somewhere in the late hours, and when I would grab my electric guitar and start playing, I think everyone would wake up. So yeah, it was a welcome thing, that Humble Bundle. So I purchased it and started to game dev. And it was primarily with Unity. So I stick with Unity for the next 2.5 years. But time was getting less and less for this. So before I quit deving with Unity, I had like an hour maybe once a week for game dev. And I thought, with 1 hour per week, I won't get anywhere. So I started looking for an alternative, which was probably less demanding in resources, so I could play it on a weaker laptop or my work computer or something like that. And so my choice fell to the Godot engine, and since then I'm still sticking with it.
Awesome. And just to backtrack a little bit, what type of music do you like to play on the guitar?
Honestly, only metal.
Metal. Okay. What kind of guitar do you
Yeah,
play on?
I have a guitar from the band Rainbow.
Oh, I don't know them.
Yeah, it's a lesser known band. It's called an Aria 2.
Oh,
It's an explorer style guitar.
interesting. Yeah, I've never heard of that. I play guitar, but I've never heard of that. So that's interesting to me. And then back to game dev, what was your transition from Unity into Godot like? Was that difficult for you?
It was very strange at first because I was after 2.5 years I was used to the Unity environment and the workflow, where you have like one scene where you put all your prefabs and scripts in, and this is working. All of a sudden, there were no prefabs. Everything is a scene. So I had to learn that. This was kind of weird when transitioning from Unity. And also Godot uses this node system, which is basically like a tree where everything you need for your current scene is put into. You have one root node and put whatever you need to into that node as a child, and work with it like that. I needed a few weeks, I think, to get used to it, but after a few weeks and months, I really started to like and enjoy to work with Godot because many things compared to Unity were suddenly much quicker than or much easier than with Unity. For example, starting with the startup of the engine or loading your project with Unity, it could take minutes and minutes because all the assets need to be loaded, all the libraries. What else? With Godot, it's so much quicker. Everything you just start and load the program, your project, and a few seconds later, it's there.
Yeah, Unity these days, you pretty much need a SSD to get it to load properly. And that's sad
Yeah,
because it wasn't always that way.
sure.
I feel like you can still use the old versions of Unity, but there's a lack of features then, and lack of
Yeah,
there's no more support really. I mean,
yeah,
you
no
know,
support, and also the compatibility with the modern OSs probably
yep.
isn't there. Yeah, I totally get that. And one thing I love about Godot, which was also always a little pain in the ass with Unity, is updating the engine.
Oh yeah.
I was so anxious to update the Godot engine from version 3.2 to 3.4 at the time, because I thought, oh no, this will break my project like in Unity, and I just stick to the initial version I have installed for as long as I can. But at some point, I just thought, I just try it, and I loaded it up and loaded my project. Thought, oh, okay, soon the warnings will start to pop up, but nothing. It just worked.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have a question. Since I don't know Godot, I've used it very little at like just an example project, and I didn't last more than 40 minutes, I don't think, using that. And I know that it's open source, right? So are there like plugins that are being made by like users that would like, put it on a GitHub or something like that?
Tons of them.
Oh, okay.
There's an official library from the Godot community, from the Godot servers, where you can browse all possible kinds of plugins. But there are also other sources where you can just get pretty much everything you need, which isn't built into Godot. Yeah, like I don't know, just some small things ranging from a plugin called Ridiculous Coding, which will add popping up the things you typed and adding screen shake to your typing, to really useful things like I know map, like an automatic map that will be created from your project, so you can trace your changes in a separate window, etc. So the
Wow.
community is the community is pretty active. There are pretty much every plugin you could think of that someone might have already made. So it's really worth a look.
That's really cool. And then since you're a programmer, are you able to like make changes to the engine yourself then?
I don't know if I could be able to, but I can. Yeah, sure. I can get the source code from the GitHub repository and just take a look. If I want to change something, I could probably maybe.
So is that in C++ then? The
Yeah,
source? Yeah.
it's written in C++. Yeah.
And what language are you using to code your projects in? Are you using the Godot language, or I heard that you can
Yeah,
use C#?
yeah. I learned the GD script language, which is the native language in Godot. This it's pretty similar to Python.
Okay.
So if you know Python, you will be able to, yeah, get along with GDScript pretty quickly. I didn't know Python, but I still got into the scripting language pretty quickly, so it was really easy to get into it. And you can use C#. You can use also many other languages like Lua or Ruby or whatever there's else out there. Um,
Wow.
yeah, Godot has this thing called, I don't know, I think GD native or something like that. It's a module which can translate several coding languages into it's something that Godot can read and work with. So you're pretty free to use anything you like to, because there's probably a module for that which translates it.
That's really cool. Yeah, when I first played with it, and this was like around 2018 or so, I think they had just added C# support, but it wasn't quite there yet. So I was a little disappointed. And I wasn't really willing to learn any other languages, and I have very little Python experience. I've never actually coded anything. I've just used some Python scripts for like a MIDI controller way back in the day. So
Mm.
I could read a little bit of it perhaps, but I wouldn't be able to write any of it. But yeah, that sounds really interesting. That it uses Lua. I again, it's not a language that I know very well, but I've used it a little bit and I can read it. I'm trying to learn Pico 8 still. That's been kind of fun, and that uses Lua. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
I
really
also
neat.
uh, also took a look at Pico 8.
Yeah, it's
I
it's
think
pretty fun, right?
yeah, it's different.
Oh
Also,
yeah.
you have to play with the limitations and get used to it. But this can also add to the fun, because you need to get creative to get what you want with the limited resources. So
Yeah, limitation breeds creativity. That's what they say, right?
yeah.
We haven't mentioned your projects that you're working on. I recently checked out your itch page and got to play a few different projects, actually four different projects.
Oh, that's cool.
I think two of them were game jams, and two of them are looking more like finished products. Which one is your most which one of you is your primary project?
Currently, I'm primarily working on C.H.A.I.R Champions.
Okay, yeah.
It's a yeah, to the top-down racing game where you have to run for desk chair and race around different tracks which resemble the homes of the characters you can choose.
It's quite comical, I'll add as well. I was getting a laugh out of it for sure. And then
Good to hear. Good to hear.
and Anthony, our last guest, is in the game, right? Anthony from Radio Bush.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Also his home.
yeah, and when you go to his home, there's a giant huntsman spider. Is that what that is?
I just wanted to add a giant spider because he's from Australia, so I wanted to add at least some giant creature which will hunt you. So
I thought that was hilarious.
yeah, I always try to add little details here and there. So if you find them, you can get a laugh out of it, or just be surprised that this is there. Um, you can also use his computer in his track,
Oh, I didn't realize
and
that.
yeah, when you get off the chair, you need to get to the computer, and when you press use, it will play an um, YouTube and +1 animation resembling that he just got another follower on YouTube.
Oh wow, that's pretty interesting. I noticed that you could get off the chair, but I didn't really experiment with it. That's really cool.
Yeah, there are at the moment there are just a few Easter eggs you can do or activate when getting off the chair. In the future, I plan to do some more interactions or more other game modes where you actually need to get off the chair, or there will be power-ups you can collect. For example, a paper ball you can throw at others, which will get them off the chair. So they first need to get on the chair again, etc. So
I like that idea. Um, Now, how many people are on the team with you? Are you working alone on this, or do you have people that you're working with?
No, I'm only alone.
Oh, you're working
Um,
alone. Oh, wow.
yeah, I made everything myself. Of course, I'm using some assets like most of the sprites you see in the game when the games are from asset packs. Um, many I've adjusted many to my needs, made it some different colors or added other animations, etc. But yeah, I'm working on my own.
Well, it looks really good.
Thanks. Already working 2 years on it. This game originated actually in a game jam I held with Anthony 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
The Wasted Resources game jam it was called. Um, was just a little game jam to make people aware of yeah that we are wasting too much resources um, in general, and the topic was don't waste your energy or something like that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's where the energy bar is still from. You have this blue energy bar at the bottom, which decreases when you keep moving, and you need to refresh it with the energy drinks. So this is still remain from this game jam.
Wow. That's really cool. So how long have you been working on Chair Champions?
For a little more than 2 years now.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but as I said earlier, I don't have too much time to do game dev. For example, over the last like 6 weeks or so, I had probably 1 or 2 hours of game dev time because there was just so much going on. At other times, I can work like an hour for 5 days a week each. So it depends on my workload and other stuff that is going on at the moment.
Sure.
So it was partially on and off, but always had the motivation and my thought. Yeah, at the game, the ideas keep coming. So
Right on.
yeah, I just go slowly but steadily.
Sure. It's all about work-life balance. I mean, that's how you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You know, if you're the candle burning at both ends, then you won't last long. So it's good to hear that you're that you know your limits and that you're taking care of what's important first.
Yeah, one thing I also, or at least two things I learned when I started game dev and went on as first time management, because I learned when I started with game dev that I don't really have that much time to do the stuff I want to do. So I need to think about what to do of my time, of the limited time I have, right?
Sure.
So I started I started to do it like when I couldn't get in front of my computer to code or whatever. I thought about my next steps I wanted to do. So the next time I would be at my computer, I had a plan of what I want to achieve in this time frame, and yeah, after a short time, it went pretty well. So I learned to use my time more efficiently than before.
Absolutely.
And uh, what was the second thing? Just forgot about it.
Oh, that's okay. And
Yeah.
so you do have another project on your itch page that looks like it's nearing completion, if not completed. I didn't get a chance to play that much of it. What was that one? I can't remember the name. Something about a barbarian or something.
Yeah. The game is called Absolutely Barbaric.
Ah, absolutely barbaric. Sorry, I didn't remember the name.
Yeah, no problem. It's taken from that Absolute Barbaric meme.
I'm
Don't
not
know
sure if
if
I
you
know
know
that
it.
meme. I'm not a huge meme person, so doesn't
Okay.
surprise me.
Um, yeah, there's a Roman soldier or something like that, and he just points at a viewer and says, "Absolutely barbaric." Like, um, if someone does something awful, someone would pull out that meme.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
And
Um,
so when did that project start?
um, I started with that project. I think it was like 2.5 years ago, or nearly 3 years ago. Was shortly after I made my very first game with Godot. Um, I started to follow a tutorial, an action RPG tutorial, which was very good, by the way. Taught me very useful lessons and things, not only about Godot, but in coding in general. Uh, it was the action RPG tutorial from Heartbeast. It's freely available on YouTube. So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, if I ever pick up Godot again, I'll have to check out that tutorial.
yeah, definitely. It will teach you so much about the engine, how the workflow is and should be, how things are typically done, etc.
And is that project finished? Absolutely Barbaric, or is that still in the work?
No, no, also still in the work. My first idea was just to finish this tutorial and make it like a one level high score hunt action RPG game thing. But I got so nice feedback over the time that I decided to make it a little bit bigger. So I drew a map with a few different areas, and yeah, then I started to add these areas and so on and so forth. So it's I think it's still some way to go until it's finished, but yeah, it's there. At the moment, a kind of side project because I'm focusing on chair champions, but every now and then I will add new things to it and yeah, get it done at some point, hopefully.
I was having fun with it.
Yeah, the last time I worked on it was I think in February.
Okay.
There was this Feedback Quest RPG edition game jam on it, which focuses just on getting feedback for your game. So I wanted to finish some things I had in mind for that, and already started but didn't finish at the time. Yeah, then I could finish it. For example, added save game slots, which haven't been there before. And yeah, this is it. At the moment, there are two areas you can play with, two end bosses. And when it's finished, there should be 7 areas.
Oh wow. Do you have a timeline on that, or are you just gonna kind of take it as it comes and do what you can when you have the time?
Yeah,
Maybe after you finish the chair champions.
yeah, the latter. Um, one thing I started to do is thinking in small steps in game dev. That works best for me because um, you plan like I don't know the next feature or the next track or the next enemy, whatever, and try to implement it in one session. And when you get that done, you get that feeling of triumph, that good feeling that you finished something, and this works way better for me than um, planning something over the next months and years, because I know I can't plan that because life happens, right?
Oh yeah, I totally understand. So,
Yeah. So
what's on your plate now as far as what you're going to be adding to Chair Champions in the next update?
yeah, the next update will add finally a racing mode because at the moment you have a few game modes. The normal game mode is like a time attack or two-player time attack, and at some point I added optional AI opponents. So just to test them and get some feedback on them if they are too good or too weak or whatever. So and then I don't know why, but I had a really tough time figuring out how to implement that racing mode. I don't know. I just couldn't get my head around it. Needed several attempts to implement it. Yeah, but at last it finally worked. So my current internal version, which isn't released yet, has already the racing mode implemented for single player. So next thing is at the split screen version of the racing mode, and yeah, this is
Well, that sounds
what's
really
next.
exciting. I was having a lot of fun with the AI, and it felt pretty polished. Of course, I only played for maybe an hour or so, so I don't know exactly. I tried to play on each of the game modes, and like at first they were beating me, but then I started to like pick a different chair and like learn the courses a little bit, and then I was beating them, and then I cranked up the difficulty on into hard mode, and then they were I was getting second or so, but since it's the racing mode's not in there yet, I just kind of had to keep track of who I was in front of.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
but
right.
it seems like it's almost there, so I'm happy to hear that you're putting in the racing mode, which I assume would tell
Yeah,
you if you got first place or second place or whatever, right?
yeah. Of course, all kind of that. And after the normal racing mode, where we can just choose a track and character and chair and race one track, I will also add some cups.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
that sounds fun.
yeah, and with that, I will add also some kind of unlocking mechanics because one thing I saw or experienced when I opened up Absolutely Barbaric in February. I haven't touched that game for 1.5 years or so. Um, was I had much more fun with it than with Chat Champions, and then I realized, probably because there are more rewards, right? So you just you can walk around and chop things down, get some coins and gems and experience whatever, and this all triggers this happy feeling inside of you that you get something for the things you're doing, and I think this is still missing in Chat Champions because nearly every character is there to play. Every track and every chair can be chosen right from the beginning. I will change that, so you have to unlock them first, and this will be done through the cups, at least for the chairs. I plan
That makes
to
sense.
add yeah I plan to add one cup for every chair you can choose, where you just play all the tracks through, and if you finish first at the cup, you will unlock the chair for every track in the normal modes.
Wow. That sounds like a
Yeah,
lot of cups because there were quite a few chairs to choose from.
and it will be 4 or 5 cups, I think.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then you have some humor uh, in there with the unlockables as far as using secret codes.
I think um, it's pretty sad that so few games are using secret codes or cheat codes these days. It has been pretty common since until the 2000s, I think, and after that, I think it got a little bit lost. So I'm trying to bring back this kind of thing, and yeah, of course, um, this is a perfect opportunity to bring in some personal notes, some humor, whatever people can laugh about, because I think games should primarily be fun, and I think this adds to the fun.
I felt so too, and it's a nice throwback because a lot of people, I mean, uh, people who remember, the early 2000s era and prior, where cheat codes were, in every game, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
Um, it's a nice throwback. I appreciate that for sure. Um, and some of the jokes are pretty funny too. Like the swingers mode, I thought was pretty funny, right? Uh, biggest
yeah.
dickus was the cheat code for that one.
Yeah, good old Monty Python.
Yeah, the life of Brian. I thought that movie was hilarious. So it was good to
Yeah,
see
it really
a
was, and
yeah.
this was the first thing that came to my mind when I thought about a cheat code for that. So why not?
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty funny. For the audience, it's like a nudist mode essentially. it's it's pixel art, so they're hardly graphic, but it's funny nonetheless. Um, and then there was a toilet chair that's pretty funny. I thought, right?
Yeah, yeah, the turbo toilet.
What was the cheat for that one?
Take a dump.
Take a dump. Yep. That's funny.
Yeah,
So
yeah. With a naked mode, with a swingers club mode, I just wanted to give tribute to this era where everyone was yeah, downloading some other graphic files for yeah, every kind of characters, primarily female characters in the games back then, which make them nude. So I just thought, why not just add a naked mode right inside the game?
yeah, it's
Also,
pretty funny, and it's not like disturbing or anything. It's
yeah,
you
I
know
thought so. It's just some pixels. The characters are uh, the sprite sheets for the characters are like 16 by 32 pixels. So what do you want to see much inside the pixels, right?
Yep,
So
it's not doing much
adding,
harm.
adding yeah, adding just some dots here and there to assume some genitals or whatever. I think it was pretty funny.
Yeah, no,
Also, also one another thing from that era are all the big head modes,
oh yeah.
which were very popular there. I also paid tribute to that and added a big chair mode where every character and chair is twice the size.
Yeah. So where was the inspiration for this game? Where did that come from?
Inspirations are primarily taken from the Micro Machines games, and
I love it.
also of
Yeah.
course, also of course, some Mario Kart games. So
Okay.
these were the main inspirations, especially Micro Machines V2, the second top-down 2D Micro Machines. Um,
I don't know if I played
yeah,
the second one, but I definitely played the first one.
yeah, I played the second one, but I didn't own it, so just played it at my friend's house. back then, but I pretty much played the third and the fourth one, which were in 3D, but nonetheless very very funny and also very demanding at times.
Oh
That's
yeah,
also where the difficulty comes from in chair racing simulator, because
sure.
I thought um, you need to have some kind of challenge when you drive against AI opponents. So if you want to be good, then you need to learn the track. So because I got many complaints, oh the AI is so fast and so hard to beat, I can't beat them. Uh, maybe you should build in some kind of rubber banding mechanics, so if you fall far behind, that you get like some kind of speed boost or something. But I'm strictly against these kind of mechanics, because I find them really annoying, because um, when I play racing games, um, I typically want to become really good at it, and um, when I'm good, I also want to win, and also want to make little mistakes when I'm first, and not be just overtaken the moment I make this mistake. And rubber banding makes this kind of things more probably than without. So
Sure. No, I
yeah,
could see how standing behind your, your passion and your what, you know, what drives you as a developer, like you should stick with that stuff.
yeah,
You
I think
don't
so too.
it doesn't need any blue shells or nothing like that, right?
Oh, I hate the blue shells. I hate them really. This is the one thing I hate the most in all Mario Kart games. Yeah, you can be in front for the whole game, but one blue shell and you fall behind so quickly.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Uh,
ridiculous.
this this really makes me rage quit sometimes.
For sure.
Yeah,
So,
but
yep.
to pay tribute to all these feedbacks that the AI is too hard or too fast, whatever. I added some difficulties. I also added the casual difficulty, because many people still complained on easy that it's too hard. So I thought, okay, then you get this casual mode where the AI is a little slower than you, despite having the same chair, and also no energy draining in this mode. So this is
Yeah, I
the
I did use the casual mode to get my bearings, and I found that to be helpful.
mm, okay.
Yeah.
I
I
see.
mean, the when I first jumped in, the easy mode did feel just a little bit hard, but more just challenging than hard. And
Okay.
it's good to have a challenge. So I don't think you should change it.
And on easy mode, the AI opponents are still a little slower than you.
Okay, yeah, I was hitting a lot of carpets and still learning at that
Okay.
point. So
Okay.
yeah, because every once in a while I'd be like, "What does this button do?" And then I get off the chair, and then I'm not doing a very good job racing, am I? uh, but yeah, you learn and you get better. So
Yeah, and
I wanted to ask you about what it's like being a game dev in Germany.
I don't know if I can answer that to a really good extent, because I consider myself as a hobbyist game dev, and due to my limited time, I primarily do game dev when I have time in short periods of time, and at other times I try posting about it on social media, etc. So I don't get that much contact with other German game devs.
Okay.
Um,
There's no
yeah,
meetups that you go to or anything like that, local meetups or
uh,
anything?
No, not really. I think I'm living in a more rural part of
Oh,
Germany,
sure.
in a smaller town, um, and we don't have, I think, that big game dev community here. It's probably much better in towns like Berlin or Cologne or something like that. Um, but not here in the near vicinity.
Yeah,
So
understood.
yeah,
Um, and then yeah, I mean, living in Germany sounds awesome to me. I don't know a whole lot about it, but my parents traveled there before I was born, and they've told me quite a bit about it. Uh, they saw some castles. They ate a lot of sausage, drank a lot of good beer. Um, I've
yeah,
heard that
the beer is really awesome here.
I've heard that they have good donuts too. Is that right?
Oh, donuts. I don't know if they're good.
Well, there's the Berliner, right, which is like a jelly filled
Yeah,
donut.
yeah, that's not exactly a donut. It's
We
more
call them donuts
like
here.
it's more like some kind of sweet bun with a marmalade filling or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I guess it is a little different than the traditional donut. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
one of
Okay.
my favorites, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, it's made really similarly to a donut. So you might call it donut if you want. Just it's not a ring, just like a bun.
Yeah, right.
Um, yeah, but yeah, living in Germany is just nice in general. I would say we have um, I think the best thing compared to America, for example, is we have free healthcare,
That sounds
uh,
lovely.
free education at universities.
Oh yeah, that sounds really awesome.
Yeah, of course, it's not completely free. We have to pay like I don't know, 200 to 300 euros every 6 months to cover their expenses. But we have no additional fees for attending the universities here. At
Interesting.
least at least if they're not like private elite things, but they aren't that popular here.
Well, it sounds a lot cheaper than the schools in the US, but it does sound like it would be expensive to do 4 years of that.
Yeah, definitely. Everything I heard about college education and universities in the US just sounds crazy to me.
It is. It really is.
You really have to get so much loan that you have to pay off for the next decade, um, just to be
If
able
you're
to get
lucky.
that education there. Yeah,
A lot of times they put you in debt so far that you end up owing more than it originally cost.
yeah.
Well, the worst part is that you know these days you don't even really need college. A lot of times you can get the education yourself as long as you have the gumption and the attitude to just keep learning.
Mm.
It's not easy to get a job no matter what,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I don't know how it's over there in the US, but here many employers are looking for your papers for educational papers. So do you have a degree? Which courses did you attend? Which degrees did you have, etc. So it's pretty hard here to get a job in a profession which typically requires some kind of education, some official education.
and you get some of that here in the US. Of course, with games and art and stuff like that, it's less needed. You just have to have the skills.
Yeah.
And I guess the same kind of goes for software development, where if you can develop software, then develop some software, and that kind of works as your resume. Especially if you can make money with your own business, then
Yeah.
no one needs to see the piece of paper. I've never shown my
Yeah.
diploma to anyone. It
Okay.
was a very expensive piece of paper, but no one's asked to see it. Of course, I went to art school, so a lot of people say
Mm.
that's a waste anyways.
Okay. Not if you want to work with art.
Right, right. I learned so much. Even though I didn't get a job right out of college, and yeah, it would be like impossible to make all of that debt back as just doing art.
Mm.
I learned so much and had a great time, and I use those skills all the time. If I could go back, I don't know if I would make the same choices. Maybe find a cheaper route to do the same kind of thing, or maybe network more while I was at college.
Yeah.
Those types of things, of course. But I can't go back. I'm happy where I'm at, and I'm glad to have gone to school for art. I honestly, I don't know if I'd recommend it to like someone who doesn't have any money and doesn't know what they're going to do when they graduate or that kind of thing. Like, it's a difficult journey no matter what as an artist, so you might as well save your money.
Yeah. I bet. I also took the, yeah, more or less safe road. And after school, I started to study at a university in Dortmund here. I started to study biological engineering.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought about. I still didn't really know what to do after school, and yeah, then I started to look around what possible directions I might choose, and yeah, biological engineering sounded like nice and interesting, so I glad, but didn't finish it, and then I quit university after 5 years and started a traineeship here as a micro technician. These are the guys who work in the clean rooms in the wafer facilities, which handle the wafer processes that makes the computer chips.
Wow, yeah. So microchips and microprocessors, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So you probably have the picture in mind of the guys wearing the complete suits, only seeing the eyes in an orange lighted room, handling some wafers.
Like the Intel commercials from the 90s.
Yeah. These are micro technicians.
That's really cool. It also sounds very difficult.
Mm. It's a traineeship, and after all, the guys who are handling the wafers are just the yeah, operators. You have to know about how to move inside this clean rooms. There are different grades of clean rooms where you have particles per square cubic feet. The best clean rooms have like one particle in 1 cubic foot. This is really crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, this is much cleaner than an operating room in a hospital.
That's interesting that you guys use cubic feet because you guys use the metric system, right?
Yeah, the whole industry originated more or less in Silicon Valley, which is in the US, and the US uses strange metrics, if you wanted to call it like that.
That's really that's funny, because like our medical industry uses a lot of metric stuff here. As far as I know,
Okay.
I'm not in medicine, so I don't really know. But from what I understand, that's the case. But also probably because it was started overseas and
Yeah, probably.
probably more precise to a certain degree. I mean, um,
Mm.
the smaller the measurements get in standard measurements, it's just strange talking about fractions of an inch and whatnot.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, I still think it's crazy that you and also the UK uses the imperial measurements system, which is so. strange and weird because every smaller type has its own calculation and its own parts to where it gets to the bigger fraction that you have to memorize it all in the metric system. It's all down to decades and tens.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot more sense. I don't. Some of the numbers in our system just, it's like, where do they even come up with that? You know?
Yeah, still from the Middle Ages.
Yeah, back when they used actual feet to measure feet.
Yeah, that's right.
That's too funny.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we've been on for about an hour now. Was there anything that we missed that you wanted to go over?
maybe one thing when I was working in Unity and started game dev,
Sure.
I directly started to do 3D games and 3D stuff because I thought, hey, I don't want to go into that pixel art direction and be like, yeah, more or less any other indie developer. I want to develop 3D games because I think they're cooler and more fun to play. Yeah, but when I had to transition and to think about a less resource heavy workflow, I decided to go 2D because I thought this will be probably a little bit easier and quicker to finish the games.
Definitely more easy on the system.
Yeah, that's right.
The overhead of the assets on the hard drive and all that stuff.
Yeah, also less graphics intense, right? So
Yep,
the workload for the graphics unit is much less than in 3D.
absolutely.
However, I want to return to 3D at some point, probably also with Godot, especially after Godot 4 came out last year. I think they made a huge step towards not only compatibility, but also they're similar in quality when it comes to rendering stuff, etc.
Yeah.
Compared to Unity.
I'm really excited to see what they do with all the new money that they're getting from the whole Unity debacle thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause they've been getting a lot of donations.
yeah, so many developers and also publishers and so on. They just jump to Godot, assuming it's some kind of open source Unity. I think many were some kind of disappointed when they
Oh,
started
yeah.
to dev with Godot. But I think also many others were happy because of course it was a different workflow and they had to get used to the things Godot does and how it handles stuff. But I think in the long run it was a very good thing that happened to
Oh,
Godot.
I agree. And to Unity, I think also, because it's pushing Unity to fix their issues. Otherwise, they're gonna lose their user base.
Yeah, first fix they did, they fired Tony Riccitello.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
happy when I heard that.
Yeah, and I'm primarily a Unity user, and you know, I've been watching them go downhill for a long time now, and even on the podcast, I've mentioned years ago how, like, I don't know how long I'm going to stick with Unity because
Mm,
the decisions are just getting worse and worse. So I'd like to see that turn around. Um, but yeah, I kind of fit the Unity refugees, we'll call them, right? I fit them into two like categories. You have the noobs, right, who haven't really been using Unity that long and are like, I'm gonna jump ship because I hear Unity's bad. Um,
mm,
and they only knew Unity perhaps. So when they get to Godot and they realize that it's a different engine, um, they have to learn what that entails. Different engines are quite different. They may have not even tried Unreal to
oh
notice
yeah,
the
that's right. Mm.
differences. And then you have your other pool of Unity refugees who are have tried other engines. They're just used to Unity and have been using it long enough where that's what they're quickest in, but they've also, like me, have been watching and seeing the things that go wrong and the things that have been going downhill, and they're just waiting for the opportunity to jump ship, and that was the
Yeah,
opportunity.
yeah. That's one drop that will let their barrel overflow.
Yeah, the
That's,
straw that broke the camel's back, if you will, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, and it's crazy how Unity is just bulking up and it taking longer to load and more and more features, but not that many that actually help like the small devs. It's all like trying to be all AAA ish, and then you don't even have that many AAA devs using the engine. What you have is a whole lot of mobile devs using the engine, and
yeah.
nothing against mobile, but a lot of the companies that are making a lot of money off of mobile are in games for the wrong reasons. Unfortunately,
Mm,
the money just kind of pools up where around the people who are using abusive standards, as far as abusing the addictive elements of games,
yeah, that's right.
whaling. You've got people with a whole bunch of money spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on mobile games just because they have too much money. I mean, it's the same kind of thing you see in some of the AAA industry of PC games with like what World of Warcraft, where they have the really expensive mounts.
Oh yeah. You know what? I heard from an interview with an ex Blizzard uh, employee.
Mm-hmm.
There was this one mount costing $15 in World of Warcraft,
Mm-hmm.
and that the money they made with that mount alone was more than they made with the entire StarCraft 2 games.
Yeah, it's
And
absurd.
that's
Well, you
it's
can't really blame
super
them
absurd.
for trying to make some money, but at the other end of the spectrum, there's people that are falling victim to this type of
Yeah, yeah.
behavior.
And then as long as there are still these kind of gamers around that pay money for these mounts, and no matter how much money, just to own it, I think companies will add these kind of microtransactions. Well, is $15 still a microtransaction? I would think so.
No. That would be an in-app purchase, right?
I would rather call it a macro transaction.
Macro transaction. Yep. Side story, my stepbrother was addicted to World of Warcraft when it first came out, and it
Yeah,
negatively impacted his
so
life.
many gamers were addicted. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. He had to quit, and it was a big deal for him.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny because I was always the big gamer in my family, and
Mhm.
I'm still pretty addicted to games, but I never got into a lot of mobile games, or I mean, I'm sorry, online massive
Massively
multiplayer games.
multiplayer. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither. To be honest, I stayed away from massively multiplayer games on purpose because I feared that I might get addicted to them. So I never tried World of Warcraft or Guild Wars or the like.
My Not my stepbrother, but my blood brother was addicted to Final Fantasy 11, and his addiction
Mm,
wasn't so severe. He was making real friends and having fun, but then other parts of his life weren't getting the attention that they deserved. It wasn't as severe
yeah,
as with my stepbrother, but I picked up Final Fantasy 11 and I didn't enjoy it at all. I played it for maybe a week, and it wasn't even like a lot of playtime. It was maybe a few hours, and I was like, nope, I'm at level 7. This is boring. I don't want to play anymore.
yeah. I think the thing with massively multiplayer games is you need to do it with other people
Oh yeah,
because I think that's where most of the fun comes from.
and the addiction.
Yeah, all the
If you've got your friends
yeah
playing it,
all the raids, and yeah, all the raids wouldn't be possible with others. And so when you're playing with others, you also can develop this mind of, oh, I can't let them down, because they need my skills in the game, so I have to play too. So there's this.
yeah. No, around that time, I didn't have like a fancy computer like when like EverQuest was first hitting the webs, you know. So I was still playing like old games, you know. I was playing a lot of
Mhm.
Doom and Duke Nukem and stuff like that. And I was learning how to mod those games.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I still play around with the Doom mods and stuff, and still have fun with it too,
Oh,
which
cool.
is great. But you know, I kind of got more addicted to chat rooms around that time because they were like Yahoo chat rooms
Oh
were
yeah,
new,
yeah.
AOL AIM, right, AOL Instant Messenger,
Mhm.
and I ended up getting some really good networking skills out of that because I was meeting people from all over the world when I was like 15 years old, and now here I am
Yeah,
talking to someone on the other side of the world, still doing it.
yeah. It's pretty cool if you think about it.
Yep,
Yeah, I was also around in different chat rooms, but primarily in German chat rooms at the time.
sure, that makes sense.
But I also didn't have really good access to internet at all at the time when it's was becoming more and more popular and the standard. We still didn't have any internet, and when DSL became standard, we just got ESDN here, and yeah. So I never got that far into internet until I moved out and got my own home
Yeah,
at some
I
point.
was kind of in the same boat where I was living between my parents are divorced, so one side had
Mhm.
a computer that I could access and had good internet even for the time period, and then the other side it was like all I had was dial up, and I had to be under constant supervision while I watched it because of my stepmom, and she had younger kids, so. Um, yeah, it was very
Yeah,
different at the two different
I get it.
places. Eventually, I got my own computer for college, and then by that point, people were using video chat even already. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not everyone had a webcam, but the people who did, And I actually ended up getting into DJing in chat rooms at that point. I thought that was a lot of fun.
DJing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I started DJing around that same time, and just plug it into the computer, and then like into the mic socket, and then you go into the chat room and lock the mic, and just be the DJ.
Yeah, also cool.
Yeah, yeah. No, I had a lot of fun doing that. Met a lot of friends.
Mm,
But yeah, now Discord is like
yeah,
my chat room outlet, which is funny because I use Discord for work and I use Discord for this podcast. I use Discord for my community management for my own game, my studio, and that type of stuff.
yeah. It's just so versatile.
Yeah,
I like Discord as well. I'm in the primarily in the Radio Bush Discord channel, where I'm constantly talking and chatting with others on a daily basis. So um, it's a nice thing to have. It reminds me also partly of the whole ICQ era.
absolutely.
Did you use ICQ at the time?
No, I missed out on that.
Uh,
I was a little young and
okay.
I was really into music at the time, so it was computers were
Mm,
still kind of uh, I didn't quite understand everything about computers. I understood enough to make music and to do some art, and play
mm,
games, and that was about as much as I knew about computers at the time. I really wish I had
Yeah,
more early access to computers and programming and internet, but I didn't. So,
yeah. We got our first computer when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old, I think,
oh
and
wow,
I immediately started to explore and try out every possible function and thing in at first in Windows 95 at the time,
sure,
and then later also open up the computer case and looked inside and that way I learned about computers on my own and educated myself.
yeah,
So I was always someone who would rather buy all the hardware components and build a computer on my own
wow,
than buy a ready-made pre-configured computer somewhere. Because first, it's cheaper
sure,
normally, and second, you can buy the hardware components so that there's no real bottleneck
it's upgradable,
in performance. Um, yeah, it's the ready-made computers are also mostly upgradable, but yeah, if they're not laptops or like these small NUC computers,
right, right,
um, but the thing I found with ready-made computers, at least at that time, is that there was always some kind of performance bottleneck. Yeah, uh, they could have a decent CPU, enough RAM, and a big enough hard drive. Um, but then they had like a budget graphics card built inside.
yep,
Yeah, so you could open up some Excel spreadsheets pretty fast, but couldn't run any decent 3D games.
right.
So this was always some kind of the thing that bothered me. So yeah, I started to learn about hardware and what works best with other components, and yeah, always had my own built PCs.
That's so cool. I really wish I had that experience when I was growing up. It was much more limited for me. Like my dad would
Hmm.
bring home computers from work, even when I was really young. I think the first computer I ever used was one of those black and white um, uh, portable computers. Right? It wasn't a laptop, but it was like a precursor to a laptop. I remember playing with paint on that, and is in black and white. So it was funny because it's software made for color, but it was in black and white. So
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah,
yeah,
that's really awesome that you were able to go down that road, learn programming, learn how to do electronics and microprocessors. And I take it today you're still in electronics then?
yeah. Sure. My daily job. I have a full time job working as in electronics. I'm configuring and testing and commissioning high voltage testers.
Oh wow.
I work in I work in a company which produces and develops all different kinds of high voltage testers for pretty much every different application, be it winding testers for motors, for electro motors in cars, for example. Um, we have I don't know how it's called in English, a sun bank. These things where you just get lay yourself in, and then you get these UV rays on your skin, so you get brown.
Tanning bed.
Yeah. Um, we have also a customer which produces these kind of things and wants to get them tested, so we build testers for them and these kind of things. So
Wow. That's
yeah,
quite interesting.
pays pretty well. It's still interesting, and also nice colleagues.
Can't get better than that. If they treat you well and you have good people to be around and you get to do something that you're passionate about, and then be able to afford to have your family and have your hobby, and I mean, doesn't get much better than that. Well, we've covered a lot today, and everyone should go out and play C.H.A.I.R Champions and provide some feedback. It's on your itch page at Bucketful Games. So if you do a search on itch for Bucketful Games, you'll see all of the games. If you search for C.H.A.I.R Champions, you'll find that. And follow on Twitter, right? How can we find you on Twitter?
Yeah, I have a Twitter account, a YouTube account. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram and Threads, all kind of stuff. Haven't posted much lately because life, but typically I post my progress in the games I'm currently working on. So if you're interested, just look for Bucketful Games. I think I'm everywhere. My handle is at Bucketful Games in one word.
Perfect. All right. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and talking about your journey and chatting it up for a bit. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me again. I also had pretty much fun, but I also just like to talk about these kind of topics. So it was really good and it's fun to be here. And yeah, looking forward for the episode.
Yeah, I'll let you know when it comes out.
Great.
All right. Well, we'll sign off here and have a great day. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been Indie Game Dev Report episode 20. And everyone should go out and check out Bucketful Games and C.H.A.I.R Champions. And while you're at it, be sure to enjoy the rest of your day.